After so many requests, I decided finally to make a video about my IBOGA experience. And this is going to be a very vulnerable video for me to make. And for those of you who don't know anything about IBOGA, it is a sacred plant medicine that's been originally used in Africa. And I have actually participated in one ceremony a couple of years ago, but I didn't have much of an experience, or I didn't have an experience that I've been expecting, because I've been hearing these huge, amazing things about IBOGA, and then I didn't experience those. And this time I didn't have any expectation, and I had only two intentions, and they were to experience my highest potential, or to see what is my highest potential. And also I was looking for a turning point in my life. I felt like everything was good, but okay, and I was looking for something else. And so these were my biggest intentions, and then I had a bunch of questions to ask, because usually the spirit of IBOGA, this medicine, is very responsive to questions. And you can actually go on a spiritual journey, which is that the shaman takes you into the spirit world and you meet your soul and you ask these questions and you receiving the answers, and you repeat them to the shaman, and you can even record them on your phone. So I was excited about this part. So I was writing all my questions. And then in the day of the ceremony, we had a little gathering, and the shaman actually was asking some interview questions before, which was super nice to actually get to know us. And one of the questions was, tell me 4 saddest moments in your life. And so I remember 3 saddest moments in my life, and I couldn't remember the 4th one. And I knew there were so many sad moments in my life, and I just couldn't remember the last one. But never mind, we moved on. We took the medicine, which is a powder of a root of this African IBOGA tree. And within a few hours, or probably in an hour and a half, you start feeling it. So you lie down. You have this typical IBOGA music, which is beautiful. This instrument I didn't remember. And you have eye mask. You're in complete darkness, and you're trying to stay as still as you can, because when you move, you feel nauseous. So you want to stay still. And I remember lying down, and then the shaman was coming and giving us more medicine every hour or so. And so it starting to being really strong, and I was feeling it in my whole body. And I started having some little visions, maybe like just going through tunnels and universes and stars, but nothing too special, nothing revealing. And as time was passing, I was feeling, wow, like I'm not really feeling it that strongly. And I was asking the shaman, can I have some more? Can I have some more? Because I remember the first time 2 years ago, I really wanted to have a full-on journey, and I felt like I didn't get enough of medicine. So it didn't really go to the other side. And the shaman just gave me a little bit. And so I was lying down, and suddenly I remember my saddest moment in my life. It was the 4th saddest moment, but it was the biggest one I could remember. And that was 4 years ago, and that was 2 years ago at the IBOGA ceremony, when I didn't get enough medicine and I didn't have my experience. It was so heartbreaking. I felt like my soul have abandoned me. I felt so sad because it was so expensive too. I just was so excited. I was preparing for the whole month, and so that was my really sad moment when I was crying so hard. And just so that's why I did the second IBOGA. And suddenly I started feeling that now I'm not going to have my experience either. So I stayed with it. And at this moment, the shaman was coming to me, and she said, Olivia, the spirit of IBOGA doesn't want you to give you any more medicine, or I can't give you more medicine. And that was just so heartbreaking for me. I was like, oh no, I was preparing for so long, because these journeys are so hardcore. You can trip for like 72 hours. And now I was lying there, and I had like a little buzz in my body, a little star visions. And I was really, really getting upset, and really going into the rabbit hole of my thoughts of just being so negative, and into my whole life being so negative. And as soon as I was going there, I've heard this little voice, and this is my first access to the soul or my intuition and my higher self or whatever you want to call it when I heard her so clearly. And I say her not because she is a her or him, it's because she actually appeared to me, and she was wearing my form. And she said, ask the shaman if she can ask IBOGA to give you more again. So I asked the shaman, I was like, can you please ask IBOGA again? And from now on, I felt really connected to this medicine. I felt like, wow, what is this voice? Like, what is this intuition? Like, now I feel really connected. And the shaman comes a bit later and she gives me more medicine. She's like, all right, the spirit can give you more. So I took some more and the journey started being much stronger. But still, now instead of going into the negative thoughts, and I was almost like easy to go there because I was feeling so much in my whole body, but I didn't. I stayed with really curiosity and thoughts about, wow, like instead of expecting some amazing visions, which I didn't have at first, I was seeing ceilings coming on top of me all the time and different tiles and very detailed one. And the IBOGA is like zooming in and out and I see all these details, but didn't mean anything. But I was just staying with that and brought curiosity. And suddenly it was dark. And my first real vision came from that darkness after I took this more IBOGA again. And as I was lying there, suddenly this black guy with red shirt comes to me and just stabbed me in my stomach. And as soon as he stabbed me, I felt so much pain through my whole body, and I almost wanted to scream. And I opened my eyes, I wanted to escape all these visions, but I couldn't. Like, I was just seeing it with open eyes and with closed eyes. I couldn't go anywhere. It was already happening to me. And when I was trying to escape, again, I heard this voice and he was saying, come again, come back and do this again. And this time soften your body. It was so clear, just a very simple thing to do. And I was like, oh my God, okay. So as soon as I was ready, this guy comes back again. It was this vision, comes back, very clear 3D vision, comes back to me. And I wasn't even ready and just like stabs me in my stomach again. But this time I was just so relaxed and so soft. And as soon as the knife penetrated my body, it was just like this whole reality opened up, like just went behind me, and he went in front of me into a screen. And suddenly I was just watching everything on the screen, and I was outside. I was observing, and I just stayed so soft. And it felt to me like it was a test, like, am I ready for this IBOGA journey? And from then on, everything started. And I was just like, oh my God. Suddenly the visions got much clearer and I was seeing things. And sometimes I couldn't really understand, but I was with it. I was listening and I was just really like observing and without, just being soft in my body. And there was a moment when I was asking about, actually before I was being shown all these like visions, and it was like these things bubbling into existence. And I was like, what is that? And I was shown the creation. I was like, oh my God, I'm shown the creation of the whole universe. And I actually couldn't believe that this was happening at this moment, because it was so, imagine that someone just shows you this graphic design, how the universe is created. I mean, this was my inquiry, but I didn't really ask. It was just put right in front of me. And the interesting part was that the reality was just this one frame. And that was just for me to know that there is only this present moment. Because before I thought that, all right, so there is the past, there is the present moment, and there is the future. And IBOGA was showing me, no, this is it, just this one frame, and everything else, it was like puzzle pieces, like was falling down from this frame. There was really nothing happening, just smoke and mirrors. And I was asking like, oh my God, but how is everything created? Like, it was just popping into existence just from this one frame. And it said that it's just coming up. I was like, what is it created from? And it said it's coming up from nothing. Every moment, just like this. Magic. Like, reality is magic. It really doesn't come up from the past. It's not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. The whole reality is just this. And I felt so much gratitude. I felt like, oh my God, this changes everything. And also it said that I say it, like I don't know what to eat, the IBOGA, whatever, like my soul, like I was told that I'm creating everything with my senses, that things are actually not out there and I'm touching them. I'm creating them by touching them, and I can touch them with my hands or with my sight or with my hearing or with my intuition, but it's all just one sense. So it might seem like a little thing, but it was so profound. I was there just like, oh my God, this is so profound. So there is no past. Things didn't happen in past. How about my memories? I remember being a child and growing up. And also this was just a smoke and mirror. This is the illusion I'm creating as a creator, as the being. And actually this was the interesting part, because I wanted to ask IBOGA about my highest potential. What is my highest potential? I was thinking, oh, what is it? Like, am I going to be a best-selling author or a speaker? Or like, what is it? And it showed me like, whoa, I am the creator. I am the creator. This is my highest potential. And it's happening right now. And because as a creator, I can create everything except of an experience. I have to project myself into time and space so I can have an experience. And I'm creating with my senses, and I'm creating all the time from nothing, from this void. And so is everybody else, but this is their experience. And being in reality is actually being in my senses and being concerned only about what is real, because there is nothing outside of these walls. There is nothing outside what I can perceive. And there is nothing outside you can perceive. It's not happening. Everything is happening right now, at this moment. And the implications are huge. Then I was asking about, how about evolution? There is so many theories and there's so much evidence. And I almost heard this little voice laughing, because the creator, which is me, is also very childlike. It wants to play, it's playful. It's a compulsive creator. And he was laughing about evolution, and I understood that I am the one who creates evolution. There is no evidence for anything until I start looking at it. Until I start looking for the evidence. So when people start looking for the evidence, they will find it. But this is the illusion we are creating. I know it's hard to believe because we've been brought up into this world and hypnotized by all these beliefs. But even those beliefs are beliefs that we are creating for ourselves. We give scripts to all the people to say the things to us, so we believe we are like little small separate selves, and we forget about all our power, and we're looking for magic in life, and everything is magic. Every moment is magic. The fact that I'm creating this beautiful skin and the hair and everything looks so real, and I trick myself into believing that this is real, this is magic. And everything is creating from nothing. And just like your thoughts, you are a creator. Your thoughts just pop into existence from nothing. They are not stored somewhere in the brain. Your brain is not, your consciousness is not a computer. But this illusion is so powerful that I don't want to say that because it's not real, I don't want to deal with anything that's, outside of my current present sensory experience. It's the opposite. I want to honor this illusion as much as I can. I want to honor all my memories and all the stories I'm creating. And I have even bigger responsibility than before, because I want to create some amazing stories, because really it's all about stories we're creating. It's the way we are. We create stories, but it's really up to us how we create them and how we create the endings. So back to evolution, I was asking, but didn't we come up with apes and monkeys and animals? And no, we didn't. This is it. There is no past. And I know I've read it before, The Power of Now, and there's just present moment. But now I really got it, what it means, the implications. This is your experience. You're creating everything, and you're creating all your memories because you just can't help but create them. And you want to experience this. The universe just so wants you to experience something, because it can't just by its own, because it's just omnipotent, everything. So it can move, it can experience, it projects you into this space and time. There is no space. You can't really move. There's nothing outside of you. There is only this present moment. and your illusions and your imagination that's just creating all of this. So after the IBOGA, I was just like, I couldn't stop. Like, I felt changed forever, and I still feel it. Like, every time I think about it, and I think about it every day, I look at things like there is nothing behind me right now, like, but I'm creating it with looking at it. And I know that you may know this from like quantum physics, and they say these things, and I was reading about it before, but being shown this in such detail for me opened up space into new possibilities of like, wow, so really, I totally don't have to be concerned about anything else outside of my present experience. And that's not because it's good to be in the present moment. It's because there is nothing else than the present moment. And I looked up the word reality because I wanted to like, what is real? Because IBOGA was telling me what's real and what's not real. And I looked it up, and it comes from the Latin word something, and it means that belongs to you. So reality is that belongs to you. And that's so beautiful, because that you is not just that little person who is here playing this game and creating all these illusions so you can trick yourself, but that you, that's everything. It's the creator, that's life, source, whatever you want to call it. And so reclaiming that belongs to you truly is to be in the present moment, to be grounded in your senses. And for me, it is to find pleasure in my senses. Another thing that was coming up from IBOGA ceremony was, I was asking about my form. Like, wow, what am I, human? Why do I look like this? And it's just in creation out of nothing. And there's no purpose, there's no meaning behind it. I was asking, well, I have my eyes so I can see, and I have my mouth, and I look like, why do I look like this? A nose and 2 ears. And again, the IBOGA, or my soul, the creator, which is me, was like laughing and like, wow, look what I've created for you. Because we don't have eyes to see, we don't have ears to hear, we don't have, like, this doesn't exist. This is just consciousness creating this illusion. And this was also so transformative, because now I have so much appreciation towards all my imperfections and towards all my stories, because they are so important to me. And I'm really committed to create the most beautiful stories, the most amazing, remarkable stories, because I really feel that responsibility of the whole universe. And I hope you can do the same, because you are creating magic all the time. Like, all the thoughts, and you have the ability to create anything you want. And when I was coming down from the journey, it took so long. It took like 3 days, but the first 24 hours is the most intense. And when I was coming down, I looked at the banana, and I was just like laughing so hard. Like, who creates these things? It's so cute. And again, I felt so connected to my intuition and to my soul, even after, like, days after that. And also the visions I was seeing, sometimes I would see visions, sometimes I wouldn't see visions. And the next day there was a pool at the retreat, and I wanted to jump into the pool the night before, whatever, I don't know, it was dark. I don't know how many days have passed, but I was still seeing visions on and off. And I was so excited. I was like, I'm gonna jump in the ocean. I'm gonna jump in the pool, and I'm gonna close my eyes, and I'm gonna have the most amazing underwater epic visions. And I jumped, and I didn't see anything. That's because IBOGA was constantly teaching me about expectations. Like, if you expect it, it's not real, it's not truth, it's not it. So for me, about speech, it's like I can't be preparing something in advance. It's like it's just gonna come to me on the spot. So I stopped planning what I'm gonna say to people. Hugely life-changing. And every time I actually like find myself that I'm like preparing something in my head, I'm like, oh, okay, go back into my senses and go back into taking either some action or into my senses. And what else was there? Yeah, some of the visions weren't that great. I was seeing people being cut in half, and limbs and blood and guts coming out, and it was super vivid. And again, I wanted to go like, ew, I'm so squeamish. I see blood and I'm passed out. So IBOGA was showing me this as in, look at this is what I'm creating. Like, I'm just like, look how beautiful, look how this blood is so red and these guts are so shiny. I don't know. But it was just like, wow, yes, just stay soft and just be with whatever is that experience. Because everything what's happening to me and everything that's happening to you is exactly what you really want to experience. You really want to have your experience. But you also have so much power in this reality to be changing things and to be shifting and creating stories that are more suitable for you. Also, some of the visions on IBOGA were so beautiful, and some of them didn't make any sense. And I remember the shaman saying that it's not about the visions, because this is where my disappointment was 2 years ago. I was expecting this epic visions that everything's gonna like be downloaded to me. But it really is not about the visions. The visions, when they come, sometimes I have no idea what they mean. But it means that I'm connected to my soul. And that means that I can keep asking questions. And I ask questions, and that clarity is insane. I would ask something and immediately I would have that answer, and I would just like, I would astonish myself with that answer. It was that powerful, and I would just be going and going. And the next day, when there was a light, I started writing things, and I was channeling just all these little bits and pieces of information and wisdom. But I was like, where is this even coming from? And it's coming from me. It's not coming from anywhere else, because I just was in that state of clarity, and we can get there anytime when we bypass that bullshit. And actually it was interesting because I started having these different thoughts in the morning, and my soul or my intuition was still with me, and it was teaching me about how to distinguish between bullshit and between the truth. And everything seemed to be bullshit. Like all my thoughts, I was like, oh my God, the language we use is just so outside of reality. And yeah, it was just incredible, basically. It was teaching me about the truth. For example, if I doubt something, it's not the truth. So now I know, like, oh, I don't know, I'm doubting. Well, I know that it's not the truth, because really the truth comes so simple and so, like, it's just so clear. And it's actually so simple and so clear that it's hard to believe at first. So now my mind has opened like so much more to new possibilities. Because before I would be like, no, like, I have certain beliefs, and even though I believed I'm open-minded, I couldn't see the truth. I couldn't see what's really happening, just like with the magic around me. I believe, or the theories, other people, science. It was like, I was laughing about science for like half an hour. Yes, science creates all these theories, and actually it's me creating, everything when I'm reading all these articles. And I'm not saying they're bad, I'm just saying they're entertaining, but it's not the truth. And again, I'm gonna honor them because they are really creating my stories and my experience. I wouldn't be having this experience without this illusion of time and space and science. So, just to give you a little background about myself, I studied science for a long time. I did masters in transpersonal psychology and all of that. I was deeply involved into writing essays and writing papers and all of that. And it's great. It was great when it was happening, but now I just have such a different outlook, and I'm asking myself, what do I want to experience in this life? Because that is the most important thing. Everything begins now from nothing. Now when I meet my friends, I know that I'm meeting them for the first time. Everyone you see in your life, you think you know them, and you construct all these theories and stories and assumptions and worries, but actually the truth is that you're meeting them for the first time, and it gives you a chance to be really present with them. And your mind immediately constructs all the world, the whole universe of things that happened in the past. It's called confabulation. And to me, I really use that in my life, and it brings me to tears often, seeing people that, wow, I've had so many assumptions around them, so many fears, and actually to be really present with them, because no matter how long I think I've known them, I'm actually meeting everyone for the first time. And so do you. You're seeing me for the first time, and look how powerful you are. You've created all the world of maybe seeing me before in some videos, but you've created that. So every person every situation, everything you look at, you're creating it new, even though you've tricked yourself into an illusion, so you believe there is time and space, but actually you're creating it now. And this is this astonishing moment when you realize, like, wow, this is it. Like, I'm creating it right now. Like, why am I creating like this, looking like that? Why am I creating fruit looking so alien-like? Why am I creating all these beautiful things and all these so-called ugly things in the world? It's all incredibly beautiful, powerful, magical. It's all magic. It's all magic. And I did have some beautiful visions too, like Spirit of Cashew. My dog was there all the time, but she was just like standing off a little bit, and normally she would be like jumping all over me and wiggle too much. And I've seen my dad only glimpse. I had an intention to visit him, but as I didn't really have the spiritual journey, my visions weren't strong enough. So I was only getting these glimpses, and he would appear to me and just looked at me. And that one moment of just that look at my dad when he was in his higher self, because before I would have all these assumptions about him, like how he didn't take care of himself, and now I just saw how powerful this being was, and wow, just so much love towards my dad and other people too. I just like popping in and out a little bit, and just that feeling. And my soul was teaching me, saying, well, I can't give you these visions full on because you're not ready. I want you to be very connected to me, like to that intuition that now I'm so connected to. And I also know when I'm not connected, I notice it. I notice that disconnection, and it comes out in my speech. It comes out in my thoughts, in my action. It comes out in my world. So another vision that was also beautiful was when I came home. It was 2 days after. I didn't expect to see anything anymore, and I closed my eyes, and suddenly I was underneath the ocean, and this beautiful animal was coming out, just like a mermaid. I was like, what is that? It was coming closer, and I've never seen such beautiful being in my life before. It looked like a seal, but it had like spots all over it, and it came so close. I saw all these whiskers and beautiful eyes, and it came so close to me. And again, these visions are just super like 3-dimensional. Like, you close your eyes and you are there. It doesn't feel like a vision that you see on a screen. Like, you're in it, you're it. And this animal was coming through me, actually, like almost came into my face and just came through me. It was like such a beautiful experience too. And so I looked it up, and it was my spirit animal, I think. And it was a leopard seal. So that was so beautiful, even though it doesn't sound so profound for me, just like such a beautiful experience. And also I remembered part of my story, because this is what was my intention, one of my intentions also, or one of my questions when I was doing IBOGA, to remember one of my story, which is in my life, like, why am I feeling so alone? Why I feel in my life so alone? And a memory popped back in there, or just popped. A memory came, and I remembered when I was a little child. I was probably like 4 years old, and I got lost. And I kept running and running. I thought it was fun, and suddenly I was so far, and I was so scared. And I remember my mom telling me the story, and she was like, "Oh, you got lost, and you were hiding behind trash cans, and we were so worried about you." But I never really perceived that moment from my own perspective. And now I did. Like, now IBOGA made me to really feel what I was feeling. And I was so terrified. I was all alone. There was nobody around. I was hiding. And it was just nobody there. It must have been like an hour. I thought it was just a few seconds or minutes. It was a long time when I was alone. So ping, popped into my existence and created a beautiful story of me feeling alone in my life. So thank you for that illusion. I have something to work with, and I'm reclaiming my power from it, because I know it's a story, and I am going to create a beautiful ending to that. And of course, this has a huge implication towards trauma, because we all believe we've been traumatized at some point in our lives. And again, I want to honor this, but there is certain ways that we can heal ourselves as if there was really something wrong. Now I really get it, that this is perfect, and we create all these events just so we can believe and we can reclaim our power. We hide our power into all these different places, and then we reclaim them. I'm gonna make a special video about trauma and being in the present moment, because this is such a huge topic. But I want to tell you one more thing before I go. Remember when I told you that at the interview, I only remembered three saddest moments in my life. I couldn't remember the last one. It wasn't a coincidence. Memory is not coincidence. It's not somewhere in my brain. It was on purpose, because IBOGA, or my soul, was teaching me about memory and about what is happening in the present moment. And it gave me that memory at the right time. It just popped it into my existence. It just pops in there out of nowhere at the right moment, when I remembered my saddest moment in my life, which was 2 years ago when I didn't have an experience on IBOGA. This also has huge implications for me, because now I know that the only thing that's real is really happening now. And all my memories, even though I honor them even more than before, I honor them as my own creation. As I know it sounds so far-fetched, or not. You might just discard it completely, and something like this will be coming up in your life at some point. And maybe then you will remember, because this is happening in the right moment, and you're actually creating me into your hologram. So I'm here just to tell you all of this about my own experience, which is, again, not even real, because it's just memory. So, but it's been channeled to me today. I didn't prepare anything. I'm just like telling you what's up. And I know that this has been the most life-changing experience in my life. My coaching now is gonna get into the completely different level, and everything else too. So thank you so much for watching. Any questions will be welcome in the comments, and any amazing questions will be super welcome in the comments. And I'm very responsive, especially on this topic. I know it's going to be super controversial. Bullshit! I have no idea if this is going to be controversial. Just like catching my thoughts sometimes these days. So thank you again for watching. And how far are you willing to go to live unbound?